it ends on a pretty damning story involving an incident that involving Lauren and an artist that she managed in the early 2010s named Nikki Heaton. And this is
where Diddy comes into the story.
Exactly. Yeah. And so Lauren is managing this. Have you heard of Nikki Heaton?
No,
I hadn't either. I looked it up, and she had a pretty big hit with a song called "Bad Intentions" featuring Migos in 2014. But she's like a very beautiful. She's young woman. I think 19 years old at the time. Lauren is managing her. It seems like they're really close friends. Nikki Heaton recently made a video about this, and like a 30-minute long video. Or I think it was a live that just got recorded. Anyway, I watched the video. She says that she and Lauren aren't really friends anymore, and they had a falling out like many years ago. But the story that she tells in her video is basically the same story, but from a different perspective that is told in this lawsuit here. So what happened was, this girl is blowing up. She has this big hit with Migos in 2014, and it is a pretty big hit. Kanye and Diddy hit Lauren up and are like, you guys should come to the studio. They get to the studio. Kanye and Diddy are in there. I think like one of their relatives is there. There's like a producer, and there's 9 of what Nikki calls studio hoes in there. Again, this is what she calls them. I think what we're kind of bringing to mind there is like kind of younger women in sexy clothes.
Yeah, they hang around this recording studio while band's recording.
Yeah,
I think everyone knows.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Groupies.
Yeah.
People called them in the 70s.
Yeah. And there's like drinks there, and they're being served up. There's like a carafe is mentioned, and Lauren accepts a drink, and Nikki's telling like Lauren doesn't really drink ever, and she's very like reserved and not like outgoing, and she has like 2 sips of this drink, and is like weird wasted and like she's like it's pretty clear she's been roofied, like she's Diddy style, like she's on like Diddy style freak off drugs, like given to her, and so Lauren leaves to go to the bathroom. And I'm telling this sort of from Nikki's perspective here. Nikki is in there, and she says she's cornered by like the groupies leave, and Nikki is cornered by Diddy and Kanye, and they're like, "It's really hot in here. Like, take off your clothes. Take off your clothes." This is a 19-year-old girl. They tear her shirt off. She says, and she's like freaking out, like panicking, like, "What the fuck do I do? What the fuck do I do?"
I think the worst part is when she like describes that she like looks over to the other men in the room who are like, other musicians, executives, producers, whatever that are there, and that she makes eye contact with them, and then they just like avert their eyes, like the men just like turn and look away. That's like a very, I don't know, that image is kind of like set in my brain and is
specifically she looks at this like 50-year-old like record producer guy that's there, so like you kind of picture in your head like kind of like a avuncular, like a dad like figure there, and he just like looks at his phone and she's like, help, like she's saying that, and he just like is texting. Nikki runs away. She says that she like gets like a burst of inspiration and just like kind of moves towards Kanye and Diddy, like her back's against the wall. She just like goes towards them. It freaks them out, takes them off balance, and she leaves. And she goes into another room and like hides. She's like texting Lauren, no response. And then after like, I don't know, like 20, 30 minutes, she goes and gets Lauren, who is like so beyond wasted, like she can barely move, and takes her home. The implication is like, not the implication, well, like the sort of accusation / implication in a lot of this is that some kind of sexual assault happened. Some kind of sexual assault did happen to Nikki, she's saying. And then Nikki is saying like something bad happened to Lauren while I was gone. So like both of these women were left alone with Diddy and Kanye for some period of time, and something bad happened to both of them while the other one was gone. Lauren doesn't seem to be aware of this. Like, she's like, Lauren, from both Nikki and Lauren's retelling, is like, Lauren was like, I got really wasted somehow really quickly. Like, I think I was drugged and like embarrassed myself because Nikki seemed really like, she didn't want to talk about that night.
Yeah.
And, Nikki Heaton left the music industry like pretty shortly after. I was looking at her, like, she talks about it in the video. I mean, again, I never heard of this lady. She talks about it in a video. She's like, I left the music industry. It was like too fucked up. She left it like a year or two later. Like, she was basically done.
Yeah.
And like now isn't in it at all. Like, she says she lives in, I don't know much about this lady. She lives in like the middle of nowhere, she says, and doesn't, it's just like on a farm. But Lauren didn't know, like, pretty crucially, like, didn't know that something had happened there. And like just thought that she had done something weird. Like, she blamed herself that she had like embarrassed her client in front of these like big name guys.
Yeah.
But didn't know. And like Nikki was really traumatized from it. But like, she's like, maybe I traumatized her by being so fucked up. I don't know. And the way that she kind of finds out about it is really kind of something else. Do you want to read from this?
Well, Kanye West, a.k.a. Ye, vented to plaintiff. He addressed a negative comment that defendant's former wife, name withheld, made about plaintiff. Plaintiff expressed to Kanye West that she would like to send a message to defendant's former wife to clear things up with correct information, as it appeared she was under the wrong impression about plaintiff. Kanye West, a.k.a. Ye, asked plaintiff what she wanted to say to defendant's former wife if he allowed her to. Plaintiff stated to Kanye West, a.k.a. Ye, that she would like to say to defendant's former wife regarding her comment about Kanye West and plaintiff being intimate during the time they were committed to each other that, quote, "This is untrue. I did not and would not disrespect Ye, you, or your marriage." In immediate response to plaintiff's desired message to, name withheld, Kanye West said, he and plaintiff did kind of hook up a little one time, and then immediately proceeded to reminisce about the time he was referring to, the night at the Santa Monica, California music studio where he, quote, hooked up with plaintiff after she had been drugged.
So that was the first time, like, during this insane exchange where Kanye West is like, Kim Kardashian, because that's clearly who's being referenced here. Kim Kardashian like thinks we hooked up. What do you want to say to her?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, tell her like, we haven't. I wouldn't do that to either of you, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, well, we did hook up. And like, that's how she finds out about it. And yeah, I mean, this is like the allegations are in this part are like vague, kind of like specifically what happened because she doesn't remember. She was roofied.
Yeah.
But what one gets is like, yeah, it looks like Diddy. Like she says, I don't remember if she said it in the lawsuit or if Nikki says it in the video, but like I think they were kind of under the impression that like a studio assistant like put some drugs in the carafe or whatever. And I think maybe
that's like what Diddy does.
Yeah, it's like it does seem like
did he do it?
Yeah,
did he do it?
Did he do it? Like it does seem, and not letting Kanye off the hook here. Like that's not what I'm saying, but like it does seem like this is probably like some weird fucking Diddy drug thing.
Yeah. Diddy done it.
And yeah, and so this is she's pretty directly like accusing like Diddy and Ye, although obviously the lawsuit's against Kanye West only, of sexually assaulting her while she was completely like gone from weird Diddy party drugs.